Welcome back to Pat's Art Enrichment Program. I'm Amanda, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a weaving project using CDs. And this particular project is kind of special because I'm going to give you two CDs, one for yourself and one to be part of something a little bit bigger. If you enjoy doing it, I really encourage you to do the second CD and give it back to your counselor so that we can put them all together and create a large wall hanging. We're going to be collecting CDs from clients and volunteers and staff to make one large mural in the halls of Path.
In this week's kit, you're going to be getting two CDs, some yarns, and you'll need a pair of scissors. First thing, you're going to pick the yarn that you're going to make the spokes with, and the spokes are what radiate out and what we'll be weaving in. So just poke the end through the hole, unravel your yarn, and tie a good square knot. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then you're just going to start wrapping over the top and into the hole. I like putting my thumb there so that I can hold some tension on the spokes that I've already done. And technically, those spokes are actually called warp when you're weaving, but I think they look like the spokes of a wheel, so that's what we're calling them for this project. Just keep pulling the yarn through, and if you get a knot, carefully get it out, or be careful in the first place and don't get any knots. And keep moving the spokes around so that you can put more in. And at this point, I stopped and took a count. You want an odd number of spokes, either 19, 21, or 23, and here I'm doing 21 spokes. So now that I have them all done, I'm going to flip it over to the back and tie another knot right into my original knot. Nice and tight. You want those spokes pretty firm. I've planned out my colors and we're ready to start weaving. I'm going to start with the yellow, and I only need half the ball. So first things first, you just take the end and poke it through to the back. And we're going to tie it in a knot to the tail. Once the knot's secure, we're going to flip it over to the front, unroll our yarn, and we're ready to start weaving. Choose a spoke to be your first one, and we're going to go over it and skip it. And then you're going to go under the second one. Skip the next, under the next. Skip over, go under, and then pull through gently. And to start weaving again, I like to fold my yarn back and count that spoke as an under. So I know to skip the next one and go under. Skip, under, skip, under, skip, under. I only do a few spokes at a time before I pull through. So keep weaving around the circle. Adjust your spokes as you need to. And every time you pull and you're about to start weaving again, pull that yarn back and make sure that you're in pattern, because it's really important to keep the pattern consistent all the way around. Now that I've woven as much yellow as I want, I'm ready to move on to the salmon color. And you don't have to use all the yarn, so I'm just going to pull off a little bit. And see, I hadn't even finished the yellow, so I'm going to trim that short too. and then do an overhand knot with the yarns together. And now you can keep weaving, and I'll show you how to take care of the tails in just 1 second. So fold it back, make sure you know that that's an under, skip, and then go under the next one. After I've done a few spokes, I'm going to pull it gently and then help that knot slip through the spokes so that it lays right alongside my work. And then just take the tails and slip them behind the spokes and tuck them right down towards the center behind your fabric. It can be a little tricky when you first start, but as you get more fabric, because you've woven more along the CD, it's easier to hide down in there. Just like that. You're ready to keep weaving. Fold it back to make sure you're on pattern. That's an under, skip, and under. I finished with my salmon, and now I want to change to the blue. So I want to show you one more time how to make that change. Tie the two yarns together with an overhand knot. Trim up the ends. Then keep weaving as you had been. When you pull through, help that knot slip between the spokes and let it get nice and comfy next to the work you've already done. Now you're just going to tuck those tails right behind the spokes again and down into your work as best you can. Don't try to weave them back the other way, just hide them right behind that fabric. And you might find the last little bit is too hard to stuff down in there, and you can trim it off. Just make sure you have 1.5 to 2 inches of tail secured behind your fabric. So I'm going to just keep on weaving all the way around, and I'm going to work through all my colors. Eventually, it gets really hard to get the yarn in and out of the spokes when you get up close to the top of the CD, so I don't even try to get it right up to the edge. And I've worked through all my colors, and I'm all done weaving. If you notice the last round that I did, I doubled that yarn because it was kind of thin, so I held 2 strands together. And now to end it, I just go to the next spoke and tie a knot around it. As I'm doing it, you'll see that I pull it tight so that the knot is nice and snug against that spoke. You don't want any gaps in the yarn. And then you just need to trim the end and tuck it right in. And there you go, all done. If you are going to be giving this one back to Path, then you don't need to do anything else. I can trim up the back and I'll be hanging them all together. If this is the one you want to keep for yourself, then you can turn the CD over and use the tail to create a little loop as a hanger. And I just wanted to point out that if you're doing one for Path, you don't have to use all the colors I supplied. If you just want to use blue and orange or yellow and orange, feel free to make it yours. Aren't these so cute? I hope you enjoyed making them as much as I did. As always, thanks for doing art with me today.